Nobody wanted to listen. Wonder where they at now. The crew's in the house. First take. Let's go.
You know, we've both been around for quite a while, so I guess it was inevitable.
We're underway in the Big Easy.
Throws and that ball's picked off.
It's Sean Murphy-Bunting. Brady throws the ball. Mike Evans, touchdown Tampa Bay.
Jameis Winston with a touchdown pass, rolls out, and it's picked up by Tampa Bay.
It's Leonard Fournette, and the Bucs make him pay.
Breeze to throw.
It's intercepted. Picked off by Devin White in Saints territory.
I appreciate all that this game has given to me. It was worth every moment.
In a year of uncertainty, all is right in the world. Tom Brady in the championship game. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith. I'm Molly Karen Rose. Good morning, fellas. Pretty simple.
Good morning.
Brady didn't make mistakes, and Breeze did. Stephen A., were you more impressed by the Bucs or disappointed by the Saints?
Well, I was disappointed by the Saints because I was disappointed in the performance of Drew Brees. Drew Brees obviously has had more spectacular performances throughout his career. That clearly was not the case yesterday. Threw 3 interceptions, only threw for about 134 yards. That's future. We're talking about Drew Brees here, particularly considering the fact that this was potentially his last game. I was also relatively disappointed in Sean Payton. We all know what a genius he is, particularly coaching on that offensive side of the ball. Even though he's your head coach, he's a brilliant play caller and what have you. I thought that Alvin Kamara's number should have been called more. Now, I predicted Tampa Bay was going to win this game. I wasn't strong on that opinion. I just didn't want to jump off the bandwagon. So I'm not going to be hypocritical here, Molly. But what I would tell you is that I found it very, very difficult to believe that Tom Brady is that GOAT, that Tom Brady is that elite quarterback, that Tom Brady is that 6-time Super Bowl champion who's been to 9 Super Bowls in his illustrious career, and you shellac him not once but twice during the regular season, and we were going to get more of the same in a divisional playoff game. I just found that incredibly hard to believe, that him having 3 shots at the apple to go up against somebody, that he was going to wet the bed, and sure enough, he did not. Now, he wasn't spectacular yesterday, but he got it done. 199 yards, 18 for 33 passing. I get it. But the defense, Todd Bowles, arguably deserves the game ball because that defense pretty much held New Orleans in a little bit of check. And as a result of that, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are moving on. They're going to Lambeau Field for an NFC Championship game. And the New Orleans Saints are going home. And I think it's because we expected more from Breeze and didn't get it. We expected more from Sean Payton and we didn't get it. And we expected more from Alvin Kamara. And it was no fault of his own that we didn't get it because he should have gotten the ball more.
I was more impressed by Tom Brady and the Bucs. And let me start by saying, yes, I'm the cliff. That's right. And he proved me wrong. But there's something else that he's proving right now. He left Bill Belichick, Tom Brady did, with the cupboard bare. And he put himself in a great position. Nevertheless, he then had to go out and get it done. Not easy in a COVID year when you're on a new team and you have to figure everything out on the fly. He did it. And Molly, you said it off the top. Like right now, Brady looks really good. He's in a championship game, in a conference championship without Belichick. Belichick 7-9 and sitting at home. But you pointed out why, Molly. He didn't make mistakes, and Drew Brees did. Was Tom Brady spectacular? No, he's 43 years old. But in the moment of truth, I tweeted out before the fourth quarter, okay, here we are. Tie game. Drew Brees has a chance here. He has 1 championship in his career. Tom Brady has 6. An enormous reason Tom Brady has 6, not just Belichick. Tom Brady's decision-making is better than everyone else's. That's really why he's the GOAT. And in these situations, much more often than not, he comes through. At the very least, he doesn't hand it to the other team. As usual, Tom Brady didn't make mistakes, and the other quarterback did. But it was more than just Brady. The offensive line, which had an injury and then the backup got hurt and the whole thing, the offensive line protected Brady very well. The Saints really were not bothering him with pressure for most of that game. It's what it is. The defense was getting after it. So the Bucs were really better, in fact, on both sides of the ball by the end of the game. And their quarterback, in the moment of truth, came through, at least by not messing it up. And the Saints quarterback didn't. But you know what? A lot of quarterbacks messed that up. Well, who has the decision-making of Tom Brady? It's why he's the GOAT. I was impressed.
Well, let's be clear about something here, too. We can't let Jared Cook off the hook. He had, Drew Brees connected with him over a beautiful pass over the middle, and he got stripped. and obviously that ended up being a turnover. One of Drew Brees' interceptions, it hit Jared Cook right in the shoulder, right in the left shoulder. It bounced off of his shoulder. Obviously, his vision was impaired to some degree because there was a defender right in front of him. But the ball hit him, went through his hands, hit him in the shoulder, and caroomed off of him into the arms of a Tampa Bay defender. And so we got to look at him. He didn't have the greatest game as well. He was clearly frustrated. He cared a lot, obviously. Was incredibly frustrated because he knew that was on him. So you got to take those things into consideration as well. Everything wasn't on Drew Brees. It's just that at the end, in the end, when there's so much expectations that's been placed on the shoulders of this future Hall of Famer who was arguably playing in his very last game as an NFL star quarterback, and then you look at Sean Payton and his genius, and you look at Alvin Kamara, 18 carries, 85 yards, how effective he was whenever he touched the ball. Why in God's name would you not get the ball to him more? I understand that Todd Bowles' defense, was doing their thing, but still in all, Alvin Kamara has that explosive kind of play attached to him. You got to get him the ball a little bit more. He didn't touch the ball nearly as much as he should, as far as I'm concerned. I thought he should have touched the ball at least 25 times yesterday.
Look, you're right about Drew Brees. He hits a tight end, and the tight end gets stripped. That's not on Drew Brees. And heading into the fourth quarter, however they got there, because especially early in the game, it's like the Saints should be up by a lot right now. They're not, because of a couple key plays, and one of them was really not the Saints' fault. But heading into the fourth quarter, whatever had happened already. Now what you're going to do? What are you going to do about it? And it's not so much just that Drew Brees messed up, but Tom Brady didn't. One thing I felt very comfortable about, the reason my focus was on, okay, Brees, what are you going to do? Is because I had a lot of confidence that at the very least, Brady wouldn't screw it up. It's not that he's infallible. He's made bad decisions in huge moments before because he's been in so many of them. But much more often than not, he doesn't beat himself. He doesn't force it. He's not the reason you lost. Even in the Eagles Super Bowl, right? For a billion yards, he wasn't the reason they lost that game. He did it again. He did it again. His offensive line came through. His defense is peaking at just the right time. That was a very impressive performance by the Bucs on the road against a team that has beaten them twice in obviously a must-win game for them, but also a big game in a certain respect for Brady's legacy, just in the sense that, okay, Tom Brady, you're not in a division with the weakest quarterbacks ever over a 20-year period. So you have a free pass to the AFC Championship game. You're now in a division with another great quarterback, and he's beaten you twice. What are you going to do? Are you going to get to the championship game again? The answer was yes. It was impressive by Tom Brady and the Bucs.
Correct me. Listen, help me out here, guys, and forgive me if I didn't know my ignorance, Molly. Did Michael Thomas get hurt or something? Did something happen to Michael Thomas? Did I miss something? The $20 million a year receiver targeted 4 times, not a single catch in an NFC divisional playoff game? I mean, not a catch.
Yeah.
Not one.
Max tweeted it. It looked like the Saints were trying to lose.
I mean, listen, he was completely shut down. He was completely shut down. And so we got to pay attention to that as well. Emmanuel Sanders had some decent numbers, 6 receptions, 48 yards. Traquan Smith had 3 receptions, 85 yards. But Michael Thomas had no catches, and Alvin Kamara didn't touch the ball more. Again, I have to look at Sean Payton, who I respect and like a great deal. But I have to look at him because how are your 2 primary weapons for Drew Brees such non-factors? Both can be attached to Sean Payton. Where was your game plan? You can't get off your number 1 receiver that's getting paid $20 million a year? What the hell is the problem? He just signed a contract. We all talked about how much he deserved it. We all talked about what a stud Michael Thomas was and is. We still believe he's a stud. How the hell do you not have 1 single catch in a divisional playoff game? Not one. Not one.
Yeah.
I mean, Godwin dropped a touchdown. Stephen A. Godwin dropped a touchdown. Both. You could point to details on both sides, but at the end of the day, Brady didn't mess it up.
Whoa. Is Godwin getting paid $20 million? No. $20 million?
What does that have to do? Yeah, right. But
that has a lot to do with it, Max.
He's just saying he's the guy.
He's the guy.
He's the man. He's
$20 million.
Got to make it happen. Big time players, big time moments.
That's why he got paid.
You know?
Right, but the point is you can point to that kind of stuff on both sides of the ball. What you can't point to
not Michael
in
Thomas.
The fourth quarter, in the moment of truth, is Tom Brady screwing up.
Max, you just said yourself, you go to Antonio Brown. You got Mike Evans. You consider those two before you consider Godwin. Michael Thomas is the man.
Godwin's a bad dude.
And he's been dropping passes lately, and he dropped one yesterday. But he's he can ball. But Michael Thomas is that dude for Drew Brees for years.
Michael Thomas is better than Godwin. That's right. That's true.
$20 million a year.
All right, here's what I do know, fellas. We now have an NFC Championship game for the ages. Yes, sir. That bad man and the GOAT. I cannot wait for it. But
for the ages?
He's a bad man.
Yeah, for the ages, Max.
He's a
Come
bad
on,
man.
Rodgers and Brady. What's better? You thought that was a little aggressive? I'm into it. Let's keep it
It's
moving
a
here.
championship game for the aged.
Oh, no Patrick Mahomes, no problem for the Chiefs. After Mahomes left with a concussion in the third quarter, up 19-10. Chad Henne stepping up to keep Kansas City's hopes alive, including a 4th-and-1 conversion to Tyreek Hill, 1:14 remaining to seal the deal, closing out the Browns season. Max, talk to me. Why did the Browns lose this game?
Andy Reid is why they lost the game. Andy Reid is not playing games. He is showing coaches in the NFL. No, it's funny because Arians is no risk it, no biscuit, right? But fortune favors the bold. Andy Reid don't coach scared. And by the way, some of that may be Super Bowl equity, right? Maybe he's looking for his Philly special play because his understudy won the Super Bowl before he did. But Andy Reid, however he's gotten to where he's gotten, a guy who, because of clock management, was considered maybe a weakness deep into the playoffs, is really showing out right now, deep in the playoffs. Oh, but Reed, you have Patrick Mahomes. It's easy when you have Mahomes and a complement of weapons. Okay, take Patrick Mahomes away. What then? With your backup quarterback? Now, you faked out Tony Romo. Tony Romo, right? Can't he see into the future? Tony Romo, they're not going to run a play here. That's by design. Their body language, by design, is meant to make you think they're just trying to draw you off sides. That's the point. Oh, they're just looking for a first down. And then he runs a play with his backup quarterback on 4th down. Really, with the game on the line, they complete this first down, the game's over. And it worked. Andy Reid is a gangster, period. And a big coaching advantage at this point, and is if anything, enhancing his legacy game after game. He was the difference. At the end of the game, he iced it. It's Andy Reid.
Well, first of all, you're wrong. Andy Reid didn't enhance his legacy yesterday. The bottom line is he enhanced it when he finally won a Super Bowl, because we all knew Andy Reid to be a great coach, but the only thing that escaped his resume was a Super Bowl championship. All of those years he coached in Philly. I would know. I was there covering the man, and the dude, he couldn't get over the hump, and then finally got to a Super Bowl, and then they lost to Tom Brady in New England. But the bottom line is this. When you look at that last play, even though we appreciate it, remember the play before that, Max, you got 12 yards to go. Henne scrambles because he couldn't find an open receiver. That wasn't a set design play or scramble or anything like that. And he was running for his life and needed a first down and scrambled out of the pocket and ended up getting those yardage. That was a broken play right there. So I'm going to give more credit to him than Andy Reid in that particular situation. That's number one. And number two, I'm also going to give credit for the loss to Kevin Stefanski to some degree, a Coach of the Year candidate in my eyes, who I think did a hell of a job in Cleveland. But should Nick Chubb have gotten the ball more than 13 times? I kind of think so. Nick Chubb is a stud. Get that man the damn ball. They were having problems stopping this brother, particularly in the second half, running the football. How about Kareem Hunt? Last time I checked, that's a stud. When we look at the Cleveland Browns, we look at them as having arguably the best dynamic duo in the backfield in the entire NFL. Kareem Hunt had 6 carries. Six. So I'm like, wait a minute here. Nick Chubb can run the football, 13 carries, 69 yards. Kareem Hunt can run the football, 6 carries, 32 yards. Molly, both of those averages are 5.3 yards per carry. You think you should have ran the ball just a little bit more? More than 19 times? I think so, but they didn't. I ain't counting the 3 rushes for Baker Mayfield.
How teams beat the Chiefs? They had to rush for at least 160 yards every win this season.
And who's more capable of running for those yards than the Cleveland Browns?
Facts.
So if you Kevin Stefanski, give them the damn ball. Now, Baker Mayfield to me didn't play a bad game. That one interception, well, obviously was not a good one. But the bottom line is, outside of that, I thought Baker Mayfield played a relatively good game. But you got to run the football against Kansas City. And then when Patrick Mahomes goes down and he's concussed, Okay, and you know you got Chad Henne in there, and he comes in and throws some inexplicable interception all the way into the end zone. You've had chance after chance after chance, and you're moving the ball. Now, Rashad Higgins, you got to applaud the effort with him trying to reach for the end zone, and then ultimately gets the touchback because he fumbles it out of the end zone and stuff like that, because that would have brought it to within 16 to 10, and we get all of that. But there was still plenty of time to overcome that, particularly when Patrick Mahomes goes down. You've got to run the football. So I'm not sitting. I know Andy Reid's a great coach. I've known him personally for years. I'm telling you right now, the one thing that I will say, I didn't walk away thinking about Andy Reid yesterday. I walked away thinking about what Cleveland didn't do running the football, and I ran away thinking about Henne on that scramble.
Well, I think it's because he went for it. He coached to win. He didn't coach scared. Go ahead, Max.
The Browns were a bit snake bit. Like, first of all, the touchback, right? Like, I don't like the rule. Most people don't like the rule.
It's a bad rule.
It's almost a touchdown.
Let them hold the ball. Let them keep the ball.
The refs missed. Right. The refs missed a helmet-to-helmet shot, right? Like, so they missed the call. It's a bad rule plus a missed call. The Browns are a little snake bit. But I want to get back to a few things you said. Baker Mayfield, I thought, was very good. Not just okay, there's very good, bordering on excellent. I give him a B+, almost an A-. I thought he was quite good yesterday, in fact. And when you mentioned running the ball, the Chiefs were stout against the run. Like, they really weren't. They were putting themselves in bad positions running the ball in terms of down and distance because the Chiefs were stout against the run early. And Stefanski tried to mix some things up, and Baker hit Chubb a couple times in the hands on plays that maybe could change the game. And Chubb drops the ball. They were trying, and then later in the game, as the Kansas City defense, okay, but later in the game, as the Kansas City defense loosened a bit, then Kareem Hunt was getting the ball, and when Mahomes went out of the game, they were coming back on them. Stephen A., the game had a feeling like the Browns maybe could win it late. Precisely because they did start to run the ball as the game wore on. Precisely because Mahomes was out of the game. And it looked like, wow, as snake-bit as the Browns have been, here is the comeback. That's why the Reid call was so big. On 4th and 1, not only do you go for it, but you make it look like you're not going to go for it with your backup quarterback, and then you go for it, and the game's over. That is the moment of truth play, the incredibly high leverage play, where Andy Reid earlier in his career was killed for stuff like that. He comes through and it wins them the game, or at least ices the win. That's why I left that game early on. I'm thinking about a bad rule and a missed call and poor Cleveland Browns. And by the end of the game, I thought, boy, Andy Reid is really showing off right now.
Yeah, the Browns were given a gift, though, and they weren't able to capitalize.
Yes.
At the end
big
of the
time
day.
gift.
Yeah.
A big time gift. And again, that one play that Andy Reid called, he's got courage, he's courageous. I give him props for that. I'm just thinking that's not the reason, that's not the thing you should have walked away from this game thinking about. Not with all that happened.
All right, we'll leave it there, guys. We got plenty more to get into, and we need to discuss Saturday night as well. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. It was a bit of a clunker, but is it fair to blame Jackson for what happened in upstate New York? Plus, has Aaron Rodgers leapfrogged Patrick Mahomes as best player in football? And on this Martin Luther King Day, we honor the civil rights icon. And these words from some of the NBA's best.
This year is even more important, that we honor that day and that we raise awareness and bring attention to that. Just with everything that has happened really in the last 6 to 12 months. And, the NBA does a great job of, spreading his messages, remembering his life.